Hello again, I think. Yes, hello. We are back for another live stream. Just kind of a random chat. A few of you guys last week seemed to enjoy this, so why not go? I figured why not go for it again? We'll just put something on the TV in the background. Tell you what, there's a stream on YouTube of the whole League One playoff final, the Sunderland Wickham game. So let's put that on in the background. There we go. It's on mute. Hey, get into the Sunderland spirit, eh? Honestly, just quickly check anything that's going on. Right, okay. There's a couple of comments. The Bradley Young, hi mate, how hopefully you're doing all right. Says, do you need a special guest? I think I'm on you itself, which I don't know if it facilitates having multiple people on. But thanks for the offer anyway. Much appreciated. Then SFC, hello there. I was obviously the Obi-Wan Kenobi reference from the Star Wars prequels, which has been done to death, but oh my god, it's still good. I've got 5 likes already, and there's only 4 of you watching, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Maybe have 4 or 5 people watching. So FTBL Adams _ says hello. Yes, hello guys. How are you all doing on this lovely well, I would say lovely, but it's kind of bleak and miserable outside. Sunday, hence why we're on YouTube on a stream instead. Okay, Thane. I was actually thinking Hot Fuzz, but yeah, everyone, hello there. Hello there. Honestly, I've got one of my close friends. We half of our conversation is that bloody movie. We talk. It's literally Hot Fuzz quotes every 2 minutes. People are just going to look at us just like we're absolutely crazy. Honestly, sometimes when we suggest something, one of us goes, idea. Just like the way Simon Pegg did it in the climax of Hot Fuzz, which was really funny. But yeah, we've been going live for about 2 minutes. So yeah, not quite as many comments, but there you go. I think maybe more people, maybe more. I did sort of decide this at pretty short notice again. Although I did share it around on Twitter. So hang on, spare me a moment. I'll share this and say that I'm alive now. If anyone wants to join. Right, here we go. Hang on. I'll just quickly do this and then we'll get onto the subject of the, well, the title of the video, basically. Hang on. I'm live. There we go. Right. So, well, not much has happened in the world of Sunderland since the last time we spoke, is it? Have you guys probably have noticed that I didn't do a video on the state of the takeover, the fans together thing. And truth be told, it's because I've grown depressed talking about the ownership. I grew sick of it every time it's come up. It's been a constant, and I don't get me wrong, I understand why people talk about it, but for me, it just doesn't. I just don't get any fulfillment out of talking about it because, at the end of the day, we can't do anything about it. We can't. But then again, so I do kind of get it. I mean, we did certainly make a lot of our fans made our voices known that the fans together aren't exactly the most popular option. I think even Terry the Man Mistake says, as much as even we don't want William's story, we'd rather have him than the fans together, which says a lot. My own thoughts on fans together, because I feel I kind of owe it to you to mention it very briefly. Having looked at the cryptocurrency thing, and even I've barely got my head around it and the gist of it, but from what I have seen, Roke Report have been particularly active in covering it. Go and read the article, go and listen to the podcast with Tom White and a couple of the guys who have apparently followed the fans together more often than not. Yeah, they're honestly, no, I don't want them. Having read a little bit about them, I don't want them. I didn't understand why people were against them at first, but that's because I didn't know anything about them. But there you have it. Anyway, so let's go back to the comments. Well, there's only like 2 more still, but at least it's easy to keep track of. FTB, okay, so Adam. Sorry if I'm going to assume Adam's your name, so I'm just going to call you Adam, unless you tell me otherwise. Who's your favourite Sunderland player? I still think... I'd still probably say Jermaine Defoe. I've not been impressed with him with the mess he left us in. By the way, I've got 2 dogs on the windowsill, so if you hear a bunch of barking, you know why. just to make you aware of it. But yeah, Defoe. I'd still say Defoe for his first spell because I think he was great in his first spell with scoring goals in a team that barely created much for him. And most importantly, what he was like with Bradley Lowry. Despite how much I've lost a bit of respect for him the way he left, I'm still never going to forget that. That's still incredible in a lot of ways. There you go. Thomas Huntley, Daniel Iverson to us. Have you seen it? Yes, I have seen that rumor. Alan Nixon reported it, so make of that what you want to. Well, funny enough, on that subject, on that very subject, there's two people who've made a comment on that. Skyhawk63. Iverson will cost too much. Could be a loan deal. We never know. Thane says Iverson wouldn't work for me because it would probably be a loan and he would want to play him week in, week out. But Pato deserves a chance for me, so we need to sign a keeper on a permanent. Yeah, that's a fair argument. I can't argue against that. Steve Flounders, good afternoon, Mike. Hope you're well, mate. Hopefully you are as well. Let me know, any of you guys, see if you're missing club football yet, because obviously we're not going to have it for another, about 7 weeks now, to be fair. Still a good 7 weeks before the start of the championship. So Dane says, we do need some contract or signing news just to cheer us all a bit, because the takeover talks left us feeling a bit deflated, which shouldn't be the case going into a championship campaign. Bang on. I think we should, this is the time when we should be feeling pretty happy about this, because we did get promoted and we should still be riding on that wave. I personally have been. I've chose to focus on the fact we've still gone up. But like, everyone's got their own prerogatives. So, Mason, as Thane says, a top Swansea gated and Galatasaray fan. What do you think of Gooch being linked with us? Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I think Steve Wilson, no, hang on, not Steve Wilson, Scott Wilson of the Northern Echo basically published this. He might not be the only person, but he was one of the key ones who did. He has reported that Swansea are quite confident of signing Lyndon Gooch, because Gooch's contract runs out at the end of this month. To answer the question, what I think, Gooch is definitely, if Swansea, for example, did sign him, I would say that he's one of the hardest workers that you'll ever see. His final third decision making is poor, but I think certainly if you put him as a wing back role, I think wing back or full back, even though it's out of position for him, or he'll feel it is, that is his best position, in my opinion. I think that's the best position he can play, because he'll offer the defensive work that a lot of wingers don't tend to do. And a lot of wingers, especially when they're playing out of position, that they have it. So yeah, wait and see what happens. Out of Wright, Roberts, and Gooch, I'd like to keep all three of them, because I think Gooch will be a handy squad player in the championship. But if I had to pick one of them to go, I would pick Gooch. I think the other two are great, would offer us more. But I'd still rather have Gooch. I'm not sure, because it would cost a bit to replace him. It would cost a fair bit to, it would cost a little bit to replace someone for him for a squad player. So why not just have someone who his wages might be a bit cheaper and he knows the club? It just makes sense for me. Ali Bamba, the playoff final starting 11 is my favourite. Fair enough. It's again one that got us promoted. Got to give favourite player to McGeady. His stint for us was a classic 3-act play. Act 2 being the darkest act, which is when he was ostracised by that Muppet Parkinson. I'm sure Dave Lawrence, I don't think he's watching this, but we mate Dave Lawrence, he did not like Phil Parkinson. Let's put it that way. Macy Snowden. Hi. Hello there. What's the next one? David Wood. Oh, yeah. Seen him on Twitter. Good day, Michael. Good. You should have said it like Bailey, right? Good day, mate. Welcome from Thailand. Did like your last video. Thank you very much. Thane, well, I'm going to go and have some lunch, mates. Catch you later. Have a good one. How very dare you? That is not acceptable. Steve Flounders. Do you think that Troy Parrott would be a better loan option than Broadhead? He was excellent at MK Dons last season and played exceptionally well for last night for Republic of Ireland. Would be a great foil for Stewart. Maybe the two strikers we go for are Parrott and Broadhead. We don't know. We certainly need at least two strikers for me, because to an extent, I don't agree with the whole Speakman got lucky thing, because I think that's a load of tosh personally. But one area, not completely anyway, but one area where he did get lucky is that because he didn't get much. Well, actually, no, he did. He got Jermaine Defoe and he got Broadhead there. It wasn't his fault Defoe decided to leave us in the shit. But regardless, we were lucky that Stewart didn't pick up an injury. So I think we definitely need some cover. Oh God, this game's gonna. Dawid Wadecki. Please tell me I've probably butchered that and I've probably got it wrong, but tell me otherwise if I've got it right or wrong. So I can correct it for future reference. Hi Michael, greetings from Poland. That's mental. We've got someone from Thailand and Poland watching. Ridiculous. Much appreciated though. Would you sign Gale from Newcastle? Absolutely, in a heartbeat, I would. There'll be some Sunderland fans that'll go, well, he's a mug, so I don't want him. But some Sunderland fans like that. And look, if you don't want it, people are well within the right to that opinion. But for me, he's someone who would instantly improve our team. So for me, it just would make sense. But he's not going to come here, I would imagine. I mean, he's on a pretty good contract at Newcastle, and I just can't see why he'd need to take a big wage cut to come here. I think, I think, to be honest, I could potentially see him going to West Brom, but then I thought, well, Steve Bruce is there. By the way, very quickly, I know there's only like 17 or 18 people watching, but I've noticed in the analytics that I think actually, hold that thought. I can check the analytics right now. Analytics, here we go. Or is it analytics? However it is, like how Jamsani says it. We have got, so audience, this is what I'm looking for. 56.7% of people who watch are not subscribed. So if you could hit that subscribe button, I'm not going to ask you the notification bell because I'm just a sad individual. But I'm not going to ask you the notification bell because I'm really nothing special. But if you could subscribe anyway, it would still mean a lot. Anyway. Josh Langley, hello there, Michael. How are you doing? Lots of hello there's. Hello there. Yeah, I'm doing all right, Josh. I noticed you like the tweet I put out on Twitter at Michael Bowers15, by the way. At Michael Bowers15 if you want to go and follow us. I've made most of the stuff I talk is about Sunderland, to be fair, though. Steve Lowndes, for what it's worth, I believe there's a good chance Sanderson is about to sign for us. I agree. I actually think we'll get him permanently. That's not based off any inside information. It's just a gut feeling and my gut feeling has often been wrong before. But I do think there's a chance that Sanderson will sign for us. You've got to look at it. For Sanderson, if he's coming to the age now where he's probably accepted he's not going to be good enough to get into Wolves' first team, because Wolves are a team that are going for Europa League football probably, or Europa Conference League. And he hasn't started in the last few seasons for them. If he was going to break through in the Wolves team, he probably would have done so by now, I think. So that means this is a big decision for him because for his own career, he needs to go out and get regular football. And I think at Sunderland, he knows the club, he knows the area, he knows the fans. He spoke highly of us before, and we're now back in the Championship. For me, this deal's a no-brainer. But there you go. We'll have to wait and see. Michael, behind Michael, just a few signs we need. Neco Williams, right back, Liverpool. Low move, Matt Target, centre back. Not a bad shout, that to be fair. From Brighton, Dion Sanderson from Wolves, Michael Hellick, centre back from Barnsley. There's a lot of centre backs in there, mate. Tom Lawrence, left winger. Derby, obviously, I think he's available on a free. Tom Lawrence at the end of the month. What is it? Derby, and then Chris Willett. Yeah, maybe. Josh Langley, I read a tweet. I think you've seen it, Michael. Not sure, but apparently signing Sanderson is joining tomorrow as a deal is done. Could be all rumours, but I'll be happy with our first proper sign. I will say this, Josh. That account was created in June 2022. So although I personally think we will get him, I wouldn't read too much into what that account says. I hope so, by the way. Look, if Sanderson arrives tomorrow, then I can do a video on our first signing. But and actually talk about something positive instead of the draining stuff like the takeover. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that's right, but I very much doubt it is. I don't think that account will have that much validity to it. Adam, our team changed so much over the last 4 seasons. It's hard to pick one particular team. I'd have to go with this season simply for achieving what the others didn't. Well, I'll tell you what then. So that actually is a good segue onto what one of the main points was going to be. Everyone else has been doing League 1 11, like the best League 1 11, whatever it is. And for context, I met up with one of my close mates, I think it was 2 weeks ago, the Championship playoff final. And we did our own best and worst 11s. But obviously we had to agree to put certain players within that system. So for me, it all depends on the formation you go with. And I think I was debating this last night because last night I was thinking I'll do another live stream. Why not? And in terms of best and worst 11s, well, this is what hang on. So let me look at the team I put before. I'm pretty set on my goalkeeper and back four. I think I'm pretty set on that one. Oh no, this is the problem. Because I could do a 4-2-3-1 to be fair. No, I couldn't do that really. Basically, the team that me and my mate picked together when we agreed on was a 4-2-2 formation, which was McLaughlin and a back four of O'Knight. O'Nien, Wright, Sanderson, James, a midfield two of Catamol and Neil. And then the two behind Madger and Stewart were Pritchard and Aidan McGeady. And I thought long and hard about the formation that I wanted to go with, and I think I probably would go with that. Well, I think even if it was like a flat 4-4-2, play Pritchard on the right. But at the same time, I then thought I think I settled on a 4-3-3 in the end. So goalkeeper and back four still the same, which is McLaughlin, O'Nien, Wright, Sanderson, and Reece James. Then the midfield two, I think, was Dan Neil and Lee Cattermole. And then it was like Pritchard just in front of them as the cam. And then in the front three, it was going to be, for me, McGeady, Madger, and Stewart. Now, Stewart would be the central focal point, but him and Madger could interchange. Doesn't have to be rigid. Doesn't have to be a rigid formation. So that's what I personally went with. But, you know, I mean, as you guys said, a few people said that, you know, the playoff final team's the best because it achieved what the others didn't, which was to go up, as Adam pointed out there, which is fair enough. No problems, no complaints whatsoever with that. So, yeah, just for context, this was the worst that me and my friend came up with. We had, oh, God, this team's so bad. Remy Matthews, Callum McFadzean, Joel Lynch, Alamos Turk, Donald Love, Josh Scowen, George Dobson, Lewis Morgan, Benji Kimpioka, Will Grigg, and Jerome Sinclair. Now, there's a few players that you might look at and think, why isn't, say, Jack Baldwin in there? That's because, for me, I wouldn't put Jack Baldwin in there because I didn't think he was that bad. I seem to be one of the only Sunderland fans that didn't seem to think Baldwin was that bad. I think a lot of people, the way I look at it, and if you think Baldwin wasn't very good, that's up to you. But for me, Baldwin, I think a lot of people look at that Coventry 5-4 game and judge Baldwin based off that and what happened afterwards. When for me, in the run-up to that game, I thought he was one of our best players that season. And I'm not even joking. I genuinely think, certainly for the first half or first two-thirds of that season, yeah, you could say there's not a mistake in him. But again, most, like, you know, people say some people think Flanagan's iron. Flanagan, for me, made just as many mistakes as Baldwin did, even though I know Flanagan was here for a lot longer. But for me, I thought Baldwin was all right. I really, really did. But if you look through that team, you know, we struggle for wingers because wingers, you know, I mean, obviously there's a few players you could put in there, but I thought Benji Kimpioka, a couple of times, for the times he did play, I thought was a headless chicken. One good thing he did, he scored a goal against Coventry, which did get us a point that season, even though it didn't matter in the end. And then he obviously scored a goal against Chef Webb when we were already 4-0 up. So I don't know. And I think the way that he left, then cried like a baby because no one went for him, and then oh, come back now. Well, no, like, you know, come on, show a bit of a dedication to the club at least. And then Lewis Morgan was the other one where I felt for what was expected of him, he didn't deliver. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Lewis Morgan just didn't sit right with me. I thought he didn't deliver based on what he should have been doing in League One, and at the same time, what he said afterwards in an interview, I think it was his Cy Ferry, when he basically all but came out and said, because I knew I wasn't starting, my head wasn't in the right place for a playoff final. I'm thinking, how on earth are you not up for a playoff final, regardless of the fact whether you're starting or not? It's a big game. It's the biggest of the season. Right. Terry Arkle, sorry, I said Terry Ankle there for a minute. Do you think KLD will spend this season or will it be more frees and loans? I think it's a combination of the two. I think we will get probably 3 or 4 players where we spend a bit of money, but I think we're not going to spend that much, I don't think. I mean, I think it was Jam Sani who said this, that last season, what was it? Last season, apparently, according to him, the highest spenders of the championship only spent £19 million, and I think that probably was Fulham because I'm sure they spent 10 million of that on Harry Wilson. It would have been one of the teams near the top, I would imagine. So not many people spent all that much money, and we don't actually need to spend all that as much money as I think people think we do to get good quality players. I think we need to spend a bit of money. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of money, don't think so. I honestly think you could get a good core of it. I think we've got a core of a championship team already. I think we just need to add in key positions. Steve Baldwin, totally agree. Well, it's not just me then, but we're 2 in a minority. Sadly, the lad had problems out with playing football. Yeah, well, if you look at something the lad die, I think it shows that, you know, Baldwin did suffer a bit mentally. So, you know, fair enough. Adam, what about the paper talk of other teams eyeing up Gooch? I'd miss him having been here so long and wouldn't like him to leave on a free, but I think we could find stronger in the transfer window. Again, it depends on what, for me, basically, yeah, I mean, there's been reports that Swansea are in for him, and apparently Scott Wilson said that a few championship clubs are interested in him. But for me, Lyndon Gooch, I mean, and to be honest, it goes, and Steve has just put another point, Steve Flounders, Gooch, ball in our court, better offer elsewhere. Personally, I wouldn't get into any further contract negotiations and let the lad go. I think with Lyndon Gooch, like I said, it depends. If he wants to stay and start every game, then I'd let him go because I think he was inconsistent in League One, so I can't see why he'd be consistently good in the Championship. But if he's willing to be part of a squad and be an actual squad player, then I don't see any reason to not give him a contract. I don't see any reason for him to leave. I mean, he loves the club, but it might be that he wants to move on. It might be that he thinks I've left Sunderland in the best way I could have done on the back of a promotion, and it's time for a new challenge. It all depends. There was reports that come out a couple of months ago, that I think Portsmouth were interested in him. For me, League One, as an offensive player, League One is his level, I think. But with the work rate he'll give you, and especially in some of the games in the Championship against your likes of your Norwiches and your Watfords, we're not going to have as much of the ball. Not straight away anyway. I think down the line we will do, because we'll be building a team. We should be expecting to go up to the Premier League. But for next season, I think it's about consolidation. And I think we're going to have some games where we're not going to have as much of the ball. You know, I mean, Steve again says a good point. It's like him and O'Nien saying they've given their best, but will struggle in the Championship. Yeah, no, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. The last thing I'll criticise Gooch for is his work rate. He's absolutely ridiculous. Sorry, his work rate's ridiculous, and he bleeds red and white, and especially for the fact he's been adopted. He's adopted Mackin, basically. Josh Lange made a point based on the worst team. I thought Ozturk was a bit like Gooch. When he's shite, he's shite. But when he had a good game, he's solid. He does have a mistake in, though, just my opinion. Yeah, that's fine. I have an unpopular opinion with Baldwin by the looks of it. More people didn't like Baldwin, for example. I thought Ozturk was... to be honest, I put Ozturk in there because I couldn't think of anyone who was worse. I probably should have put Dan Lubens in there, to be fair. But, yeah, I think with Ozturk, he was all right. Nothing more. It was just all right. Joe Lynch was probably the worst of the lot. Will Allen, who are your starters down our right-hand side? Well, it depends. If you're talking about the 11 that I've put out, I actually put out a 4-3-3 formation, which was John McLaughlin, Luke O'Nien, Bailey Wright, Dion Sanderson, Dries James, and then it was Lee Cattermole, Dan Neil. In front of them two as a cam is Alex Pritchard, and then a front three of Josh Madger, Ross Stewart, and Aidan McGeady. And by the way, that's not a rigid front three. That interchanges quite a bit. Adam, remember Mahrez was bought cheap before they were in the Prem? Good scouts are vital. I would argue that we've had good scouts this season. I think we've had, and this goes back to the point why I don't get this Speakman got lucky thing. At least not completely, anyway, because I think we did. Some people have forgotten that we actually did get some good players in the summer. Yes, obviously in January at full back, at centre back and forward, we left ourselves criminally short, and he deserves criticism for that. But to act like he did nothing good at all, I think is just not accurate. I don't think it's fair. I think last summer we did get some good recruitment, and I was proving some of those players ended up helping us get promoted. Mason, I just thought Lubens could have been one. Yeah, probably. Charles Sport. Hi, Michael. Aaron here. I think you can guess what my favourite game was. Stadium of Light 2022 2-1 win. A memory of our worst season since 1998, relegation out of the Football League. Big summer. Damn it. Yes, he's right, though. It is a big summer ahead. I don't quite get what game you're referring to there. I think you can guess what my favourite game was. Stadium of Light 2022 2-1 win. I don't know. Charles, I'm just thick, mate. I'm not quite sure what game you're referring to there. You'll have to correct. Doncaster. Oh, God. All right, Donny. Right, okay. I've just got you. Okay. Yeah, fair enough then. Oh yes, Aaron. Now I know who you are. Right, okay. I thought Aaron Chandler. Yeah, if you go and subscribe to him, by the way, Aaron's a good lad. Yeah, I'm sure that was probably the best result of your season, or one of them. Fair enough. We were just awful that day. But it's not your problem. You take the win wherever you can. Good luck in League Two. But yeah, I mean, you look at all these comments. I mean, look at, like I said, there's a problem with the Gooch. Hang on. Sorry, Josh Langley, what's he put? Sorry, guys, this is not very organized, but this is just like, I mean, with me shorter videos, I tend to try and gather my thoughts and organize them somewhat into a video. These ones are just me mumbling and just having a chat, really. That's what the whole point is here for. Josh Langley, this is a question that could go over your head, but what do you think will be done at the club first? Ownership, transfer situation, transfer situation, manager, contract, mate. I'll get sorted first. Probably a transfer, but it could be a loan deal or a free transfer. That could be that's what I think will get first. The ownership situation, obviously, that's a bit more complicated to sort out. But I'm just hoping that Sunderland don't use this as an excuse to not go and get players. Doncaster really went pear-shaped. Should be at least challenging top six in League One. Yeah, I agree with that. Doncaster at one point won the championship, I think, many years ago. So, and if you look at it, in 2021, the lockdown season, for about the first 2/3 of that season, Doncaster were right up there, competing near the top end of League One. I remember when we beat them 4-1. That's that February game last year. That they were actually in really good shape. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. I'm back. Lunch consumed. Good. Don't know what that was. Charles Sport. We've kept our manager McSheffrey, but with us signing Biggins from Sunderland, letting Bostock go amongst others, and linked to your academy probably Kieran Dunn amongst others. Adam, ever heard of multitasking thing? You know how it works. Stereotypically, it's the women who are able to do that. And to be fair, in experience, I think I can probably agree. I'm certainly no good at it. Charles Paul, the owners can't get this wrong, otherwise protests will begin. Well, yeah, fair enough. Well, actually, Aaron, just out of interest, what is the expectation to go up next season? Has to be. Whether people think it'll happen or not is not really the question. Like, it should be. You know, any relegated team should have the expectation of going straight back up. Never. But yeah, I don't know. But anyway, the other question that I've obviously put into the title of the video was, what is your best game in League One? What's your favourite game? And I suppose that could count, like Aaron's just put there, Doncaster fan. What's your favourite game ever since Sunderland were in League One? So you could say the best game against us. I'd imagine the 2-1 win last year. Surely it's got to be automatics for Doncaster. Shouldn't be anywhere near League Two. Well, it's the same with Gillingham, especially. Gillingham, especially, should be really going up automatically. I think Gillingham, Doncaster, then Wimbledon. I think it's another one. Maybe Wimbledon and Crewe a bit less so because I don't know they're just. I think Gillingham and Doncaster are the bigger clubs of the lot of them. But then again, you look at it, Bristol. You know, only one of the teams who got relegated over a year ago went up last season, and that was Bristol Rovers. So you had Swindon, you had Northampton. And you had, who was the other one? There's one other team that I've forgotten here. Swindon, Northampton, and Rochdale, that's it. They didn't go, none of them go. Adam, I want the ownership stuff sorted before we sign people. Otherwise, we'll be the last minute as always. What I would say, to be fair, is that I'm a bit more calm about the signings that we haven't signed anyone yet, because last summer we got players who were deemed better than League One, and pretty much were right. So I think we might try and get the best possible player. I don't mind waiting a little bit longer if we can get good players. However, I would prefer we didn't leave it as late if it had my way. Thane says Wimbledon and Crewe, maybe playoffs, Doncaster and Gillingham top two. Charles Port, Adams Port, trust me, the owners, trust the fans, trust with the fans is on a knife's edge. One move wrong and it's over. The aim for the board is promotion. Anything other than top 7 finishes a fail and demands change. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Like I keep saying, you know, I've said this with likes of Ipswich and Sheff Wed in League One. I think with Doncaster, with any of the relegated teams in League Two, especially Donny and Gillingham, it's not arrogant to expect to go up. And obviously, as you guys know, I grew very angry every time someone said that. Josh Langley, well, bar Wembley, that was emotional. Either Sheff Wed at home atmosphere or Sheff Wed away for the limbs, getting jumped on by 40-year-old blokes. It was class when we scored. But okay, well, the other one is, what is your best games in League One? So for Sunderland, I had a look at them. Obviously, the main candidate is the Wycombe game at Wembley, because it's the one where we got promoted and got out. And that's still probably number one. I think that'll be number one from a good majority of Sunderland fans now. But if you look across the other games, I would say, what's the other one? A couple of ones that are a bit unnoticed, I would say, is, you know, Scunthorpe at home in the first season. That was our third game of 18-19 when we were 3-0 up at half time. I just enjoyed how much we dominated them. Opening 45 minutes, we were just absolutely ridiculous. Gillingham away first season, we won 4-1. Wycombe 4-0, obviously with the for the context, which is that Darius Charles goals. You're in our house and you play by our rules. When Wycombe beat us earlier that same season 1-0 at Adams Park, we then beat them 4-0 up here. And apparently that clip of Darius Charles was the motivational team talk for the players before the 4-0 game. Even one as far as this season in the league, Sheff Wed 5-0. Beating Sheff Wed 5-0 is not the same for me as beating, again, Cheltenham or Morecambe 5-0, or beating Cambridge 5-1. You know, Sheff Wed are a team that should be getting promoted. And albeit they had, I think, COVID cases or COVID issues, and they hadn't played for a few weeks in the build up to that, I was very impressed with us that night. When I think we started the game a bit slowly, but once we went ahead, I think we was just no looking back. We tore them to pieces, tore them to pieces. But as Josh says, you can probably say that the two Chef Wed games in the playoffs were great. I mean, obviously, the funny story is, and I'll say this now, I was in Street Bar for the second leg. Here's one, Michael. What's your worst League One game? I'll come back to that. If I haven't mentioned it, remind me. But that night with Chef Wed away in the playoffs, I was in Street Bar watching it with obviously a couple of my mates, and it was packed full of Sunderland fans. And when Patrick Roberts scored the aggregate winner, thanks Dane, by the way, legend, sharing the stream for us. But yeah, when Patrick Roberts scored, I don't drink beer, by the way. Well, I say I don't. I downed half a pint from Jam Sarni at Wembley just to get him in the stadium for the second half. But anyway, I'm not a big beer drinker. I'm not a big alcohol lover. But when Patrick Roberts scored, there was a few lads in front of me who were jumping up and down and had those plastic cups with beer in them, and they were jumping all over, and then the beer was flying all over the place, and I got coated in beer at the top of my head. But boy, it was worth it. I didn't care. Because there was that I'll never think. Now we've got promoted, I can look back at that night quite fondly. It was just incredible. One of the best nights I've had in recent years. Just a few others. Hang on. Bristolian Mackham. All right, Michael. Hope you're well. I don't know if I've already mentioned that, but you get another one if I have. So yeah, thanks, mate. Hopefully you're all right. Thane. Yeah, I got very angry last season with how slow our business was. However, I'm going to remain calm, but we need at least 5-6 new players for the start of the season. Come the end of the window, another 3 or 4. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think we probably need about 10 players, I think, for the squad. I think that, like I said before, I think for the starting 11, we've got a core of players there that I think are good enough. I think if Evans keeps up his recent form he is, I think so. Let's just be generous and say Evans potentially, but I've got another midfielder instead of him. I wouldn't complain. Wright, Bart, I think they're both good enough again, providing Wright stays. Roberts, providing he stays. Pritchard, what's the other one? Ross Stewart as well. I didn't get Jack Clark again, personally. But Mikel on Allen, would anyone take a punt on John Joe Kenny? Yes, I would. But I'm sure hasn't he been playing regularly for Everton this season? So if he's willing to come down to the Championship and we get him, yes, please. I'll definitely take John Joe Kenny. But I would imagine that he would probably sign for another Premier club, or certainly a club higher in the pecking order than us at the moment. Was it Chris Scott? Oh, he's been released. Well, fair enough then. Chris Scott, given the choice, would you rather go up in the automatics or at Wembley? Well, it depends, because if you could guarantee me that we were going to go up, then Wembley. But yeah, personally, I haven't, automatics, definitely. That's the sad thing. Even though we have got promoted eventually, and obviously I'm happy about it, it's still like horrendous that we never finished in the top 2 in any of the 4 years in League One. Adams put a couple of comments. Cannot spend longer than 2 years maximum in League Two. Longer than that, then the club could be on a downward trajectory further down, and that demands a change from the owner 100%. So many things wrong here. Then he's also said, in terms of our window this summer, we're in a better shape squad-wise this season. It isn't 14 players like last summer. It's probably 21. So the plan is 4 or 5 permanents and promise 2-3 loans in attacking areas. Chris Costa says, yep, it is scandalous, really. Dane says, in the Championship, Kenny wouldn't be a bad shout. Obviously, a couple of people are saying Kenny's been released. Archer is anonymous. I think the fact we are in the Championship now makes me more relaxed. We don't have to worry about building a team more or less to win less every game and get promoted. Well, Young says, Phil Bardsley, if we were in League One, I would have considered it. In the Championship, probably not, personally anyway. As for what Archer's point is, I actually agree with that. And I was thinking this to myself when I was walking the dogs this morning, that because, hear me out here, there's the likes of, let's say Dion Sanderson and Jack Clark as 2 examples. Let's say, for argument's sake, Sunderland buy both of them permanently. If we bought them both permanently when they were both in League One, we were under pressure nearly every game to win, because the expectation was still rightly to get promoted. And I think this season's probably the perfect opportunity to bring both of them in, because as long as we win enough games to stay clear of relegation battle, we can afford these players time to develop and adjust to the Championship properly. Even though Sanderson's already got experience, and so has Jack Clark, I think. Granted, it might be limited, but we've still got them. But for me, like, you're then in a position where, as long as you win enough games to not be in a relegation scrap, then we can afford mistakes. We can afford them to have teething problems. We can afford them to have, um, you know, we can afford them both to be able to have the capacity to make errors. We can afford them both to not be perfect every game. So, whereas in League One, we couldn't afford we couldn't afford that time really. Mikel Allen, I don't think Barton Wright would be good in the Championship. Both are fringe players in the Championship. Like I said this to you last week, though, I'm pretty sure Bart played fairly regularly for Stoke. Or if he didn't play every game, he played regularly enough to make an impact. Right, I don't know. I think Wright certainly would be good enough for the Championship if you have maybe a centre back with pace beside him. Just because the fringe plays in the Championship for someone else doesn't mean that they won't be good enough for us. Steve Flounders, I think Clark is only a loan option. Levy will want too much money for him. You say that, but I'm sure I read an article somewhere that said that I'm sure that there was an article recently that said that Tottenham were looking to offload him, and he's only got a year left on his contract at Spurs. So if that's the case, I know Daniel Levy obviously is a bastard to negotiate with, but I do think we could get him for a couple of million. If it depends how much Tottenham want to get rid of him. If he signs a new contract, then yeah, another loan probably. It might be the case with us that we give him another loan deal, which takes up the last year of his contract, and then if we wanted him again, sign him on a tribunal the year after. I don't know. Thane says Barton Wright or good championship quality centre backs. However, we do need younger centre backs to come in just in case. Definitely. Thomas Huntley, Bart got player of the month for Stoke the month before he came to us. That still amazes me how we managed to get him. Dane says, did you hear what Terry's saying? We might be in talks to sign Dan Ballard from Arsenal. No, I did not hear that. But who knows? Well, Terry said quite a few things. He also said that Ross Stewart's contract had been resolved. Mikel Allen, yes, but he was a fringe player before that. But you don't get player of the month for Stoke if you're not going to be able to add something in the Championship, I think. I think that's the point we're getting at. It's your opinion, by the way. You know, you're entitled to disagree. You know, Will Young would take Aidan Flint solid and is a goal threat. Yeah, well, apparently, I'm sure I read on Twitter somewhere, and again, this might be a load of garbage, but I'm pretty sure someone said he's going to Derby. Sirius, here we go. I keep want to call you Sirius Black there. We need a pacey centre back because Wright and Bott are good, but aren't quick. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think Sanderson would be quick. He's obviously got a bit of pace about him. It's a shame for Jordan Willis, really, because if Jordan Willis hadn't been injured so much, then I think he could have really done something. David Wood says, Levy would want money for Clark. We will not get another loan deal in his last contract year. Arch says, I think Bart will be great games when we're under soaking up pressure for a better team like his physicality. Thane says, Flint is a free agent. I would take Bakuna as well, just been released from Cardiff as well. Max Brown, good point. We need fullbacks. Yes, we need at least one fullback in both positions. We'll have to wait and see with that one who we can end up getting. I don't know any fullbacks out there that I think we can get, but the recruitment team sometimes have got players under the noses, get their cards close to their chest on that one, in other words. So you never know. There was another comment I've just missed. Where is it? Chris Scott, slightly off topic, but are you happy with the job Southgate is doing? Time for a change after the World Cup. Oh yeah. Well, if anyone who watched the England game last night, it wasn't exactly a good spectacle, was it? It was pretty crap. I think that Southgate's done well to get us to the point we're at, where he got to a semi-final, then a final in his first two tournaments. Granted, you could say that that's because the previous tournaments have been so rubbish that anything after that looks. But I think he's done well in that regard. But I do think after the World Cup, if he doesn't win it, I think we do probably need to change. Ian Curry, why didn't you announce a live? I did. It was just a bit late. Let's have a look. Archer, Tommy Smith is free. Am I right in thinking he's the fullback from Stoke? Or I got that wrong? Let's see. Hang on. We should tell Spurs if we finish above a certain position, we buy Clark. Imagine if we say we finish above 12, we buy Clark, and we finish 13th deliberately. That would be so Sunderland. Left back, Eric Peters, just been released from Burnley, plenty of experience. Yeah, fair enough. Kyle Mavin, I'm loving seeing we are going for goalkeepers to test Patterson for number one spot. Yeah, well, Patterson needs to be challenged, doesn't he? I mean, Patterson's done really well, and I think he deserves to have the chance to see us. So you'll have the chance to see his development grow. Mikel Allen, Kyle, yeah, seen us interested in Iverson at Leicester. Dane says Winchester will likely be a squad player unless we don't sign a right back. Yeah. Ian, any more news at SCFC, mate? Well, In a nutshell, no. This is just speculation, the stuff we're talking about here. But yeah, there's not much, unfortunately. Archer say, hang on. Used to play Huddersfield for the Premier, got 6 assists last season. I'm not quite sure who you're talking about there, but anyone who did, hang on. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure who you're talking about there, but if he's done well for Huddersfield last year, then there must be something in him. Serious, would you send Huggins to League One for a year on loan? I think Huggins, there's something in him. Granted, I'm basing that off 1 or 2 games, to be fair, so I'm take that with a pinch of salt. But I do think there could be something in Huggins. The player, the right back, I'll be looking to look because I'm viewing him as a right back now. Ian Curry, have you been following Roker Report? Yeah. Well, I already addressed the ownership situation thing at the start of the stream, so you can go back and look at it there if you want, Ian. Personally, I just get depressed talking about it, but that's just me. I was going to say, yeah, I agree with Thane here. Of the right backs we've got, I think Huggins, granted it's based off a couple of games, but I agree with Michael. I think Huggins is more likely to cut it in the Championship than Hume is. So Trey Hume is the one I would send out on loan, and I'd want to send him out on loan to a top-end League One club that's going to be challenging for promotion. Heck, to be fair, if Derby's takeover goes through, and by the way, that is a disgrace what's happening at Derby. That gets sorted soon enough. If Derby's takeover goes through and they can get players, then maybe loan him to, say, Derby, because they might be relieved just to have a right back. And they'd be expecting, if they get competent players, to challenge at the top. But yeah, Trey Hume I'd stand out on loan. I'd want to get into a good standard. And Huggins I'd keep as a second choice right back and sign a first choice one. So I agree with Thane on that one. Smith, okay. Chris Scott, apart from Smith, right? Okay, Tommy Smith, fair enough then. Why not? Chris Scott, apart from the Wembley win, I say one of my best experiences of League One was during the first season on the Ross. Still the honeymoon period, 4-0 away at Gillingham springs to mind. It was 4-1, but I know the game you're talking about. I really did like that. Steve Hurst, we have 2 right backs. Huggins and Hume will both be fine. Neil will get the best out of them. I agree. I think down the line, Trey Hume will be our starting right back. I just don't see. I don't think it's good for his development to be here to sit on the bench and not get any games. And I think he was a little bit overwhelmed when we played Rotherham, who were very physical. And although to be fair, the Championship's a less physical league than League One, so you never know, he could do all right. For me, I would want him to be playing regularly, whether that's with us or out on loan somewhere. Josh says, was Tommy Smith someone who we had in League One? I can't remember who. Yes, there was a different Tommy Smith. It was a former Ipswich centre-back. I only know this because I looked up who we had in the players in League One, and Tommy Smith was one of them. I couldn't believe it. But he never even played, which is something. Michael Allen, my first choice is John Joe Kenny. Chris Gostin, my bad 4-1, you're right. Thane said, to be fair to Hume, actually played well against Rotherham. Don't think he was as bad as what some people said. Oh, I don't think he was bad. I just think he was a bit. I don't personally think that was the right game to start him in. But to be fair, hopefully he'll learn from that experience. I think down the line, Hume will definitely be good enough. In the games that he played in League One, I think he was steady. I thought he was all right. Considering he's come, and that's a jump for him to go from the Irish League to League One. That's a huge step up for someone like Trey Hume, I'd imagine. So that's what I'd go. I don't know. Half of this is turned about transfers. I think if you look at it, when you look at transfers for the Championship, I think we need a right back, a left back, 2 centre backs, and that's assuming Bailey Wright stays. We need 3 if he goes. Probably a good midfielder. I might even go for that Kamara from Plymouth, to be fair. I actually made a joke, and Stevie Watson, I don't think he's on here at the minute, but I said to him last week for a joke, what would you guys think of this? Go for Kamara from Plymouth, buy him, and then loan them Jay Matete for the rest of the season, for next season. Just wait and see. Thane says, I think it was, to be fair, I think it was his height against Rotherham's physicality. Yeah. No, I would say right back, left back, centre back. This is going to assume that the 3 contracted offers, Gooch, Roberts, and Wright, stay. So centre backs, midfielder, winger, goalkeeper, obviously, and at least 2 strikers. We need 9 or 10 players, I think. So he says, thought he was good going forward, but I didn't think he was great defending. Kyle says, how many goalkeepers do you think we need? At least 1, maybe 2. Ian Curry, what's your predictions for us this season? And what goalkeepers would you look at? Goalkeepers, the goalkeeper I'd have wanted to bring in is Ben Foster. But I think someone said he's off to the MLS, or if not, he's probably not going to come to Sunderland, I would imagine. For me, I think we'll probably get John Ruddy from Wolves. So I don't know. Goalkeeper, like I said, we think we need 1 or 2. And predictions for this season. It's a hard one because a lot of it does depend on signings. I don't think we'll get relegated. I think even the squad as it is now, just because Birmingham and Reading are in such crap off the pitch, I really don't think that I don't think we'll finish below either of them. So yeah, I don't think we'll finish below either of them, and I actually think we'll finish above Rotherham. So even though the team as it is now would definitely be in a relegation battle, I think we'd have more than enough about us to stay up. But obviously, we don't want to rely on the squad we've got. We want to add quality to it, like some really good championship players. So I would say between 13th to 18th. I think that sort of area is where we're going to finish. Mind you, I've seen quite a number of people predicting on YouTube, just regular predictions that Sunderland are going to finish top half or finish potentially in the top 10. There was one, I think it's called Ben HD, I think, when he does predicted tables based off what the bookies are saying. And based on what the bookies were saying, they had us at finishing 10th, which, don't get me wrong, snap your hand off of that. We could potentially be dark. We could potentially dark horses for the top 6. Some people have viewed us as dark horse for the top 6. Everything would have to be spot on recruitment wise for that to happen. But you never know. I think we'll finish the best out of the 3 promoted clubs, definitely. So let's just go back to see if there's any comments I've missed. Thane says, I don't rate that Kamara personally. I thought Matete absolutely dominated him, and that's saying something. It's weird that, because I've seen a few people say the opposite way around. That I didn't watch that game, the Plymouth game, because I was at work at Easter. Steve says, might be in the minority, but Matete is going to be a big player for us. The lad has a lot about him. I like him. I think his decision making needs to improve, but he is young. That's going to happen. Mason says, see Middlesbrough linked with Tom Heaton on loan. Would you take him? Yes, definitely. Michael, I think Michael wanted Foster for the insight. Yeah, YouTube content. That's what I wanted him. Chris Scott, really do appreciate what you SCFC YouTubers do week in, week out. Watching yourself, Thane, Jam Sani, etc. after the games is something I always enjoy. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. I'll tell you, like I said as well, I appreciate people doing live streams. I know me and Thane tend to do them across the season once a week, but I really do think that it's not easy doing this sort of thing. And I applaud Terry and Joel and whoever else when you're on your own doing live streams. Even Jalsy's done it. DJ Earth's done it, where you're hosting, or you're doing it on your own, and you're trying to keep everyone's attention for a long time. I mean, the fact I've got 30 people watching and I've been yapping away for 48 minutes has been impressive. Kyle Mervyn, would you take that Josh Murphy from Cardiff? Yes. Alex Neil's worked with him before, so I can't see why he wouldn't get the best out of him. I know he hasn't had the best of times recently, but I don't know, for free, got nothing to lose. Serious. Matete, I'd give him first half of the season, then analyse him. Yeah, fair enough. No problem with that. That's fair. And well, I'll put, yeah, Steve Matete looks very promising. And then obviously a couple of people saying that Thane's... yeah, Thane does good vlogs. Should check him out. And well done, he's hit over 1,000 subscribers. So fair play to him. Fair play to the guy. Thane says, I said 13th, but that can easily change once owners start coming in and how our rivals strengthen. Yeah, but it's nice, like I said loads of times before, it's nice for once just to be having this conversation. It's nice to be saying, oh, I'm looking forward to a season in the Championship, rather than just, oh, League One again, we're going to Forest Green Rovers. And especially when you look at League One for next season, and you look at how many teams are in that division that could foreseeably go up. When you've got Ipswich, you've got Sheffield, you've got Charlton, you've got Portsmouth, Bolton, Wickham, MK Dons potentially, Oxford potentially, and that's not even including Peterborough, Derby, Barnsley. There's half of the league next season could go up potentially, and there's even some teams that can really overperform, like Plymouth did last year, and that's meant as a compliment. Plymouth had a great season last season. So I'm so glad, and like I said, for next season, I'm so glad we're out of it. Really, really am. Let's see. Ian says, I think we'll do great, honestly, Michael. Let's see. I still think we'll do, honestly, Michael. I think that I like the way we are actually at football. I keep the same team. We can get a few decent players who want to come to Sunderland. And what about Stockdale from Morecambe? Maybe. If we'd still been in League One, I would have gone for Stockdale. I think we could probably get a bit better now we're in the Championship. But to be fair, I wouldn't rule out the club getting him. Steve says, wonder what will happen with Diaku. Don't think Alex Neil will give him much game time. Loan for me. Well, it's another one. Same with Trey Hugh. Maybe loan him out to a League One club. You can be become accustomed to the English game. Properly playing consistently. Chris Scott, are you going to keep an eye on League One results still? I still think I'll follow it just to see how the likes of Sheffield and Derby get on. Yeah, I'll still follow it. I'll still probably I think in a way, I'll probably enjoy following League One a bit more now that we're not in it, because while we were in it, I just couldn't get away from the fact how awful the league is, and I still stand by it. I don't think it's a good division, but I think Alex Neil proved with a bit of confidence you can actually get promoted out of it. Thane says, yeah, it's definitely a good job we finally got out of that division, because League One is going to be the league of death in terms of quality, in terms of teams that could do it. Certainly, Jackie Olondo definitely do good. Michael Allen says, yes, people. This could hang on. Yes, people. This our young centre backs are going to struggle. Our young players are going to struggle. Sirkin, Huggins, Patterson, Neil. How far they will come after a full preseason of League One football and preseason now? Depends. Well, Neil, to be fair, like I said before, I'd have Dan Neil playing every week personally, but I think Alex Neil doesn't seem to fancy him. He just doesn't play him. Patterson, I think the only way you're going to get him to be better is by playing in the Championship. Have an experienced goalkeeper just in case. Sirkin and Huggins, I think, could adapt to it. I think they could. Not straight away, probably. And I think we'll have to accept that start of next season, it might take us a bit of a while to get adjusted to the level. But it's like Blackpool. Apparently, Blackpool had to adjust to the level at first. But once they did, they were really good. So if we have a season like Blackpool did, I'll take that. Racing on board says, fellow Aussie here, so Wright is the GOAT. Yes! I love Bailey Wright. Let's have a look. Josh Scott, 100% would loan Trey Hume out next year, especially now we've gone up. Yeah, I would. Thane encourages Thane, you should do lives, mate. Oh, well, honestly, I think Thane's quite very good at it. I know he says, I have before, mate, but I just tend to go live with Michael, but I may do it at some point. You never know, the season or something. Well, to be honest, I'm thinking of doing a live stream on here when the fixtures come out, which obviously I think is, hang on, let's have a look what day it is. Oh, shit, yeah. It's only like 11 days until the fixtures come out. That's when I think excitement will really start to build. So I might even do one. Granted, you'll see me looking like death, to be fair. Granted, to be fair, I think you could see me looking like death on the stream. But I think the day that the fixtures come out, I'm probably going to be tempted to do like an actual live stream. So to react to the fixtures on my phone as they come through live. But you never know. So live streaming is not easy necessarily. It's not easy to keep people's attention. 38 people watching, by the way, and 36 likes. If we can hit to 40 likes, I'll take that any day of the week. Right. Chris Scott, noticed he played for Australia the other day. Did he play well? Mason was. It said, yeah, mate, scored a header. Josh Scott, John Ruddy experience back at 100%. Ian Curry disagrees. Fair enough, it's opinions. Dan Neil bulked out a bit after returning to pre-season last year. Josh Langley, if Neil doesn't play Neil, that's a mouthful. And we have depth in the middle of the pitch, I'd sell him and grab the cash. Yeah, I would. If he's not going to play him, then you might as well get the money. Josh Langley says 23rd. I hope not. If that's his prediction for next season for us, I really hope not. Hopefully at least a good half a dozen places higher. Dane FC, Huddersfield at home, first league game of the season. I can see it. Funny enough, I think we'll get Norwich first game at home. Don't know why. I think we will. In some ways, I'd want to start with an away game because I looked this up. 17-18, we had Derby at home first game. 18-19, we had Charlton at home. 19-20, we had Oxford at home. 2021, not that it made a difference, but because we couldn't go, but we had Bristol Rovers at home. And then last season, we had Wigan at home. No, when the fixtures come out, right? Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I was thinking that was your prediction for next season. I really hope not. Let's see. Ingram, we need a flexible keeper, not an old man who struggles with his weight. Hang on, Mikel Allen. Anybody willing to sell Daniel? They're absolutely mad. But if he's not playing, then what's the point in him being here? I don't want to sell him, by the way. I want to start him. But if Alex Neil's not going to start him, then what's the point in having him here? You might as well get some money for him. Chris Scott, predictions. Who's going up this year from the Championship? I fancy Norwich as they're the experts at getting out the league. I've got a hunch that it'll be Norwich first, Middlesbrough finish second. I think Rob Edwards going to Watford's a bad idea. And he'll get sacked in 6 months anyway. They never give anyone time. Burnley losing a few key players. So I think it'll be Norwich and Middlesbrough for the top two. And I'm going to throw a left field suggestion for win the playoffs. I'm going to go Swansea. Apparently they ended the season well last year. And I could see them being in the top 6 this season. Steve Evans put a comment. I think I missed out. Michael, absolutely agree. R.E. Daniel, the lad is going to be a top player. He was outstanding for England the other week. Technically our best player, best midfielder by a mile. Alex Neil won't sell him. I hope not. Look, I hope he plays. I really hope he does play. But at the minute, based off the end of last season, I don't think he will play him. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Paul Jack says, haven't we asked to play away first to give the pitch a chance to bed in after the contest? Well, you would think so. You'd think so. But since when's the EFL ever considered what fans want? Or Sky? For the fans, eh? Thane says the lad needs game time. He's waiting on the bench. Completely agree. If we're not going to play him, then maybe send him out on loan. Chris Scott, surprised Burnley have let Ben Mee go. He's good enough for a Prem team. I think he turned a new deal down with them. Same with Tarkovsky. Daywood, I don't see Borough showing any promotion from last season. What has changed? Chris Wilder, first full season in charge. Michael Allen, remember everybody would have a clean slate press this pre-season, and I think he just didn't play because Neil wanted horses for courses. Just to make sure the job was done. Yeah, maybe. Hopefully you're right, mate. Hopefully I'm right. You're right now. I'm wrong. Ian Curry, that's true. Michael will send Neil out on loan. So yeah, I don't know. It's just nice to see. It's just nice to see we're talking about championship season, isn't it? So what I'm thinking of doing is I'll probably do another live stream at some point in the next week, maybe like next weekend, something like that, and then I'll do a live stream around the time the fixtures. We can go through them and talk about them. How excited are you, by the way, for the fixtures coming out? I'm very excited. I'm excited I'm excited again. It's excitement for a championship season rather than League One. Okay, here's a question for you because we'll start to wrap it up shortly because we've been here. Amazing, we've been here 56 minutes. Oh, 44 likes. Just noticed it. So if that's the case, let's get to 50. Let's try and get 50 likes. Even if you want to just hop on for a second, like the stream, and bugger off, I don't mind. Just get a nice like. That'll be all right. And subscribe, of course. 46. Hey, here we go. Come on, we're nearly there. Honestly. Oh, here's a question I'll ask before we start to wrap it up. Just for fun. Hang on, that's all. Gregory Bowie said, come on, Michael. I live in Mancy Land, but I watch your YouTube. It's very authentic. Gregory, thanks very much. It's non-third tier team, so yeah, the fixtures will be good. David Wood, can't wait to see the fixtures. Yes, now with all due respect, now we're not playing tin pot teams every week. Yeah, I know that sounds like disrespectful, but I mean, like, your Forest Green, your Exeters, and your Port Vales. Like, come on, like, really. Steve says massively. I just prayed that Wembley it was our time and thought another season of Div 1 almost suicidal. Sentiments echoed. Sentiments echoed. Okay, guys. So here's one for you as just a joke. Who do you fancy to go from League One next season? Because eventually, like down the line, I'm still riding on the crest wave of going up from League One. Eventually, we will start to shift towards Championship. But for now, I'm curious to see who people think will go up from League One next year. Because as I said before, it's like I think Thane said, it could be the League of Death next year with the amount of teams that are in it that could go up. It's just incredible to think about it, really. So you never know. Right, Steve Flowers. Oh, here we go. We're getting some suggestions. Steve Flowers, Derby, Portsmouth, top 2. Pompey, interesting. Derby, we fingers crossed. Hopefully they have a club at the very least. Adam Jewell, Chef Wed. Same with David Wood. Kyle Mavin, I think Ipswich, Chef Wed and Barnsley. Will Allen, Peterborough. Then it says Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday, top 2. Playoffs, Peterborough. I'll tell you who I think will probably go up. It's not who I necessarily want to go up, but it's who I think will go up. I think Peterborough win the league if they keep Clark Harris. If they don't keep Clark Harris, and they've got to keep, like, say, Clark Harris, Sammy Smodics, whatever it is, Reed, one of the midfielders that they've got. I think if they keep them, I think they've got every chance. I think they've probably got the best attacking force in the league. I think Ipswich will finish second because I think with Kieran McKenna, Ipswich were much better second half of last season. Once his methods started to creep in, they just tailed off a bit towards the end. So I think with a competent manager this time, even though Paul Cook should have really been good enough, I think Ipswich will be doing it. And I'm going to say Bolton to win the playoffs. Or whatever, those three are the teams I want. I think Chef Wed should be going up. I think they've got the team to go up. I'm just not convinced Darren Moore's the right person for them. If he shows some comp, because I think in the playoffs, Alex Neil, to be fair, Alex Neil's a much better manager than League One. But in the playoffs, I thought Alex Neil tactically outdid him and got the better of him. So for me, so we'll have to, again, it's one of those. David Johnson says MK Dons. It depends if they keep their players, doesn't it? They've got some good players, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, it might be the case that maybe I'll be telling you that the team I'll be interested to see how they do is Wickham, because the team that loses the playoff final tends not to do as great the following season. So I'm trying to think. So obviously, well, look at it. 17-18 as an example. Shrewsbury lost to Rotherham in the playoff final at Wembley that year, and they ended up finishing mid-table. We obviously, unfortunately, lost the playoff final to Charlton and we finished 8th, albeit on points per game, so you might want to rule that one out if you wanted. Oxford, to be fair, actually, Oxford did all right. Oxford lost in 2020 to Wickham and finished in the playoffs the year after. Then obviously Lincoln lost the playoff final last season, finished something like 17th, 18th this season. So it'll be interesting to see how Wickham do. Adam Joel says, I've said Plymouth, but they ended the season very badly. Then SCFC. Peterborough are the League One. Too good for League One, but not good enough for the Championship. Johnson Clark Harris scores for fun in League One, and in the Championship, not good enough. Yeah, probably. Things are no talking of losing playoff finals, Michael. Hey, we can. Wickham lost it last 3 weeks ago. Michael Allen, I was scared out of my mind of Ipswich last season. Yeah, they signed a lot of players I think should be good, but they probably just didn't get in quickly enough for Paul Cook. Ian Curry, I want Sheffield Wednesday to go up. I think our fans are bonded like we did with Norwich after the 1985 final. Yeah, I do as well. I remember with Sheff Wed before the playoffs, Sheff Wed fans, a lot of them were going on about how teams have treated them as a cup final, yet say they're arrogant for expecting to go up and time waste. Yeah, I think Sheff Wed's the team I'd like to see win the league. Sheff Wed and Ipswich are the teams I'd want to see finish in the top 2, but we'll see. Steve Flounders, if Ainsworth leaves, can see Wickham struggling. Same here. Then Sheff Wed, biggest club in League One now, deserves so much better. Yep, completely agree with that. Right, guys. I'll go on. One more like. Someone, anyone, who hasn't liked the stream yet, hit the like button. Come on, let's get to 50 before we close. We're almost there. Ian Curry, I've heard Burnley are in for Ainsworth. 51 likes. Well, hey, we can go now. Oh, yes, right. I promise you, this. I know I've said the last thing a few times. This will be the last thing. Ian Curry heard Burnley are in for Ainsworth. Could do. I certainly think could do worse. Kyle want Derby to go straight back after the last season of drama. But yeah, hopefully they do that. Blackburn as well. Another like, mate. Thanks, Thane ME2. Oh, I wonder who Thane ME2 is. That'd be nice. 55 likes. Jesus. Right. Josh Langley. Worst game. Right. Worst game in League One. Oh, God. There's so many. Oh. Right. Okay. I was tempted to go the 1-0 at Gillingham when Parkinson said he would have took a point and we conceded in the last minute. Ultra defensive at Gillingham. I can't get that out of my head. The worst game I'm going to go with, I'm going to say worst home game and worst away game. I'm going to cheat a little bit. Worst home game was the 0-0 draw against Bolton. Funny enough, Bolton. I mean, look, in terms of the worst game, look, Bolton, worst in our history. Bolton away this season. Doncaster at home. But okay, because you have suggested that, I'm going to suggest a couple of other options. One was the most boring game. There's 2 really boring games I can remember. 0-0 against Bolton in December 2019 when bottom of the league Bolton came in and dominated us and we didn't look very good whatsoever. And Parky made yet another masterclass in defensive substitutions. And then last season, the 0-0 draw at Northampton, which was after our COVID break. Oh, probably one of the dullest games I've ever seen. But in terms of worst, yeah, it's got to be Bolton away this season. And again, Bolton are another club who shouldn't be in League One. It's not a dig at Bolton, but it's just 6-0 defeat in the 3rd tier. Come on. Like, that's not good enough. It's not. We shouldn't be getting hammered at that level, really. For me, we shouldn't even get me hammered in the Championship. But next season, we're up against some good teams. Right, guys. I am finally going to leave it there because my throat is starting to be exhausted and I'm pretty sure I've wasted enough of your time. We've got the 57 likes. I'm not going to beg for 60 because I'm sure you guys have got other things you want to do. Michael, I hate our last game against Rotherham, though, the 1-1. Sid Wislov, I hope we resign Wadwell and Lee Camp. Why not? Honestly, guys, thanks very much, ever so much for watching. It means a lot. I'm assuming that you're enjoying this, hence that there's a few people that have liked it. So I'll probably be back at some point in the next week with another live stream, or if something else happens, like a signing or an update on the sale of the club, of the shares, whatever else it is, then fair enough. But yeah, Thane, Steve, Josh says, Thane and Josh has been a great stream. Thanks. No, you know what? Ian Curry says, don't go. Ian, I'm starting to get exhausted, to be honest, mate. It's not easy to host it. But honestly, thanks very much, guys, for watching. I'll let you get on with the rest of your Sunday. Don't worry, Ian. I promise I will try and announce the next one. I promise you. Take care, guys. Love you all lots. Stay safe. And how are the lads? Like, comment, and subscribe if you wish to. It would be great. Michael, do what I will do, I promise, in the future. Take care, everyone.